When I think about diversity, I think we come at it very differently from some organisations. Some organisations, I think it's a kind of philanthropy, that it's in some way the right thing to do and therefore you must do it. To me, of course, it's the right thing to do, but it is actually very, very good for the business. We are fighting a war for talent. We're trying to capture the most creative people and then develop them to their full potential. And in that situation, you must look at every possible minority and take what you can everywhere and then develop it to the full. So to me, of course, it's the right thing to do, but it's actually also about winning in business, the war for talent. That's the first thing to say. Second thing I think to say is you've got to have focus. That means employing someone who focuses specifically on diversity. It's their sole job. The lady that we have running our diversity efforts very quickly came up with the idea that we should form networks around particular minorities. So we have a gay network, we have a black network, we have a disability network, we have a parents and carers network, a South East Asian professionals network. These networks have taken on a whole life of their own. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, the idea of tapping the creativity of your people. Get your people involved in the issue and they'll come up with fantastic ideas. So what are the various things the networks do? Well, the first thing they do is they help senior management develop the right policies to deal with the issues of that minority. What are the issues on the minds of a black person working at Merrill Lynch and how do you make sure that those issues are dealt with? Second thing you do is to start using it in recruiting. And this again came out of the networks. The network said, hang on a minute, there are networks on campus. So, for example, there is a women's professional network at the LSE. So our women's professional network contacted that network. And now, when we go to recruiting events where we're recruiting from a broad swathe of students, there are already contacts between the networks. People have warmed up to Merrill Lynch. They know that we are very positive on trying to hire and develop our women to their fullest potential. And that's fantastic for recruiting. So I think the third thing then that came out of the networks was the idea of using the networks to develop our client base. So, for example, the Women's Professional Network recently held an event where it invited 40 very senior women in the city. We had a group of senior women on a panel talking about how they developed through their careers, some of the issues they'd had to face, some of the ceilings they'd had to butt up against, and then how some of them had left their main careers, gone on to second stages, become non-executive directors. And I think that was very inspirational to the women in the room to see how others had done it and learn their lessons. So in terms of the outcomes, I think it's qualitative. You can't suddenly look at the statistics and say, we have more of this minority or more of that minority. That's really not what it's about. It's about, do the people within that minority feel more comfortable working for the company? Do they feel good about the company? Do they go and help recruit people from that minority to join the company? And then when they're in the company, do they feel that they're able to progress to their full potential, whatever that might be for that individual? And I think if you talk to our people, you'll find that the networks have had a massive impact. I think the key thing is to involve your people. They get excited about the subject and then they bring that amazing creativity that they employ normally on business issues to bear on this kind of an issue. And that's what really gives rise to these great ideas.